Your mind was once a quiet fortress. Now, it is a city under siege. You feel the walls cracking every time the night falls and the whispers of desire begin. You blame the stone. You blame your own hands for letting the gates open. But the fault is not in your strength. It is in your strategy. Cast your mind back to the ancient world, to the Spartans, men forged in ice and shadow. They stood unbroken against tides of war, madness, and the darkest human cravings. How did their walls stand so tall when modern minds crumble at the slightest breeze? They did not fight the storm. They became the mountain. If you learn to build your mind with their ancient stones, the storms of your own desires will break against you. You will finally find peace. Think back to a time before the noise, before the endless tabs, the late-night scrolling, the constant itching need for a hit of dopamine. Your mind used to be quiet, sharp. So, where did the crack in the foundation begin? It started the exact moment you believed the modern lie, that you could negotiate with your own mind. You started seeking external validation, a quick thrill, a cheap hit of pleasure, thinking you could control it. You brought the Trojan horse inside your own walls. That was the fatal error. You didn't lose the war when you clicked the screen. You lost the war when you allowed the debate to happen at all. History holds a mirror to this exact flaw. Consider the Spartan king, Agesilaus. When approached by a famously beautiful youth who moved to kiss him, a harmless reward, a mere compliment of the flesh, the king violently pulled away. He refused. Why? Because to the elite mind, the cheap thrill is never just a reward. It is a psychological breach. While a modern man would eagerly accept the dopamine, calling it a treat or a break, the Spartan saw it for what it truly was, an infiltration. The external high is not a prize. It is a massive drain on your most lethal weapon, your focus. And this is exactly where you bleed out every single day. Look at your micro-habits, the quick glance at social media, the 5 minutes of mindless browsing to take the edge off. You tell yourself it's harmless recovery. It is not. It is a lethal leak in your hull. Your intellect is being hijacked. Once desire enters your mind, your reason changes sides. Your own brain starts building logical excuses for your surrender. I worked hard today. I deserve this. The solution isn't to brace yourself and fight harder when the urge hits. The solution is to never let the urge enter the room. You don't need to do more. You need to relentlessly, ruthlessly stop doing. The Spartan hoplite carried a shield, a spear, and very little armor. To the untrained eye, they looked exposed, poor. But that lack of excess wasn't poverty. It was the ultimate tactical advantage. They stripped away everything that could slow them down, everything an enemy could grab hold of. You view your endless options, your entertainment, your unrestricted access to the internet as luxury. It is not luxury, it is vulnerability. Voluntary scarcity is the ultimate psychological armor. Let's name your enemies. The phone resting on your nightstand, the incognito tabs, the notifications buzzing in your pocket while you try to work. You have normalized these things. You call them tools or entertainment. Let me reframe them for you. They are dead weight. They are active, predatory threats sitting inside your perimeter, waiting for you to get tired. They are draining your life force drop by drop, while you smile and call it convenience. So, we cut the cord. Right now. Do not build a massive, complex routine. Do not buy a planner. Do something brutally small, but entirely absolute. Take the phone and plug it in another room. Delete the one app you know is the gateway. Subtraction requires no sweat. It requires a single second of cold, calculated execution. You don't fight the enemy. You just starve him. Every self-help guru screams at you to build willpower, to stay hard. It is garbage. Willpower is a biological battery, and it drains every time you make a choice. If you rely on willpower to fight lust at 11 p.m. when you are tired, lonely, and stressed, you will lose. 100% of the time. The elite do not improvise when the sword is at their throat. They use cold installation. You win the war at 5 a.m. when your mind is cold, logical, and fully awake. You write down the brutal, unromantic consequences of your vice. You pre-commit. You set the rules in stone when the blood is cool, so that when the fire comes, you do not have to think. Your defenses are already locked in. Automatic, instinctual. To make this permanent, you must separate your actions from your emotions. You are not a guy trying to quit a bad habit. Trying implies the possibility of failure. You must become the cold architect. You map the grid. You set the traps. The struggle ends when the identity shifts. You no longer debate with your lower self, because the man who entertained those desires no longer exists. The structure dictates the behavior. Consider the ultimate test of this mindset. When a Spartan stood at the hot gates of Thermopylae, facing a Persian army that blotted out the sun, he did not hype himself up. He did not look for motivation. The enemy was overwhelming, perfectly designed to induce panic. Yet the Spartan combed his hair. He sat in silence. He ignored the magnitude of the threat entirely. Why? Because the outcome was irrelevant. The law commanded him to stand, so he stood. He broke the ultimate rule of human survival, fear of death, because his internal code was louder than the external threat. This is the proof. When the rule is absolute, the temptation loses its voice. This is where your modern mindset fails you completely. You are obsessed with the outcome. You count the days you've been clean. You tie your self-worth to a streak on an app. And the moment you break that streak, your ego shatters, and you binge. You must sever this toxic connection. Cut the umbilical cord between your internal state and these external metrics. Stop counting the days. A true strategist doesn't count the days he hasn't burned his hand on a stove. He simply knows the stove is hot, and he no longer touches it. The core of this dark lethality, the true engine of Spartan discipline, was not anger. It was not a fiery, screaming rage. It was profound, chilling calmness, inhaling the chaos and exhaling absolute order. The counterintuitive truth is that true power comes from inertia. When you master the art of standing completely still in the face of your darkest urges, you neutralize them. And once you master this cold discipline in the quiet of your room, that identical power will bleed into your business, your body, and your legacy. But look at yourself. You can't even sit in a quiet room for 10 minutes without your skin crawling. You are chronically twitching, desperately reaching for a screen to numb the silence. You think you need to constantly grind to beat your demons. You are wrong. You don't need more movement. You need to find absolute rest inside the discipline. You need to learn how to lock the doors of your mind, sit down in the dark, and finally breathe. Understand the saltwater effect. The ultimate realization of the warrior is this. Giving in to your vice feels like drinking water when you are dying of thirst. But it is not water. It is salt water. It tastes like relief for a fraction of a second. And then it burns your throat, triples your thirst, and destroys your organs from the inside out. Lust is salt water. The tech companies know this. They sell you sight blockers, meditation apps, and habit trackers. Band-aids for a bullet wound. They are temporary frauds. The only true cure is rewriting the architecture of your own perception. Once you see the salt water for what it is, you stop wanting to drink it. So here is the line in the sand. Stop bargaining with your weaknesses. Stop hoping for a surge of motivation to save you. Stop waiting for it to feel easy. It will never feel easy to the weak mind. Start building the cage before the beast wakes up. Neutralize the threat in the cold light of dawn. Strip your environment of the poison. If you do this, if you choose the cold installation over the heated battle, you become invulnerable. The war against yourself is never won with a sword in the dark. It is won with a blueprint in the light. The symptom you thought was weakness is simply a failure of preparation. The willpower you thought you lacked is a myth you no longer need. You are the architect. You control the gates. You dictate the terms of engagement. Do not wait for the enemy to breach the walls, to realize you left the door wide open. Build the armor. Starve the distraction. And remember, a true Spartan does not win the war by fighting the hardest. He wins because he won the war before the battle even began.